The Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, I think it's pretty fair to say there's no argument that it needs some extensive work because of its wear and tear over decades. But how that gets done has been quite the battle, ongoing battle, especially considering one plan would close the popular Brooklyn Heights Promenade. There are two options from the city's Department of Transportation to repair a 1.5-mile stretch of the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, which you see underneath there. One option creates a temporary elevated roadway, closes the Brooklyn Promenade for 3 years, and turns it into a temporary 6-lane highway. The other option would repair the highway lane by lane. That would take 8 years and snarl traffic, but the promenade would stay open. One of the critics of both plans is Peter Bray, the executive director of the Brooklyn Heights Association, and we're so glad that you're here. Thank you, Peter.
Glad to be here.
Well, this just off the start here, this area is a beautiful place, not only a place where people want to live and work, but people visit as well, New Yorkers and tourists alike, because of the beautiful view.
That's correct.
And that's part of the issue here, too, right? It's usage. So tell me, what do you think of those? You're against those plans, just not a chance.
We think that both of those plans should be removed from consideration. The one plan that would repair it lane by lane would cause massive traffic congestion, and that would back up traffic and divert traffic into the neighborhoods throughout the BQE corridor, which would cause tremendous environmental impacts, ruin air quality, damage health. The elevated highway is something that would put 150,000 vehicles a day mere feet from people's doors and windows. And it would remove the promenade from public use. DOT says for 6 years. The community feels that it could be 10 or 15 years because of the complexity of the construction.
When we talk about the complexity and we look right now, it's the cantilevers. Just in reading about this today, the different levels of what is underneath part of the promenade, right? And I guess I want to know then, what do you think? How have you hired engineers? What's a better idea?
We have hired engineers. We also have architects and urban planners who are hard at work on this. In fact, they started work within days after DOT announced these two alternatives. And we think that we have an alternative that is superior to the two plans that DOT has advanced, and it would involve putting a temporary parallel highway, 2 tiers, into the very eastern edge of Brooklyn Bridge Park, so it would run parallel to the BQE, to the 3 levels of the triple cantilever. And it would take traffic away from the neighborhood, but it would put it in a portion of the park in which there are no active recreational uses. It's parking lots and it's dirt berms.
And time-wise, does your proposal, how does that play up to the other ones as far as how long that would take?
We think that there's a very good possibility that our alternative proposal could be built faster because the temporary structure in the park can be built a lot more quickly than putting those 6 lanes on top of the promenade. Traffic could be diverted onto that parallel bypass, we think, within a year, maybe a year and a half, and it would give the city unlimited access to the 3 levels of the BQE in order to do their work.
We talk about the people who are against the city's 2 ideas and just the residents there. I mean, a lot of people live there, work there, go to school there. We've seen rallies. Scott Stringer spoke at the rally over the weekend. What about the strength in numbers? What about, I would imagine, donations to help the cause of pushing your ideas? How are you doing?
The community is absolutely united in its opposition to the DOT elevated highway. And the rally that took place on Saturday, in which a number of our elected officials were there.
Eric Adams was there as well.
Eric Adams was there, spoke out very plainly that this plan was something that would not work and that The other elected officials said that the city had to be more transparent and more accountable in its dealings with the community. And to this date, we have not gotten a response from DOT to our plan that we showed them in November. They've been looking at it now for almost 2 months, and we think that both the city and some of our elected officials need to do a better job of engaging with the community.
So here's a statement that we have from the Department of Transportation. They say, the city and DOT are thoroughly engaged with the community to ensure the BQE reconstruction is as transparent as possible, and any claim to the contrary is demonstrably false. We are committed to partnering with elected officials, community leaders, and all local stakeholders on the entire project corridor to hear their input and prioritize their safety. So this is before, or has nothing to do with your proposals. This is just the statement they've given us.
No, we would take issue with that statement.
Okay, how?
The public meeting with the entire community took place on September 27th. Now, 4 months have elapsed. There has not been another opportunity for DOT to speak to the entire community, and we have not gotten a response to our proposal for this parallel bypass highway, and we haven't gotten a response from a letter that we sent recently saying the city ought to engage an independent panel of experts to take a look at how to do a better job in reconstructing the BQE. We're still waiting for those answers.
Before we let you go, just the importance, the meaning of the romance of the promenade, its history, its place in that community. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, the promenade came about because of the opposition of the Brooklyn Heights community. That was led by the Brooklyn Heights Association when Robert Moses, the city's master builder who built most of the highways in New York City, originally proposed the BQE. It would have gone right through the heart of Brooklyn Heights and destroyed much of the community. At that time, because of that opposition, he first suggested putting a 6-lane highway where what is now the promenade. So this is a return to a rejected plan from 75 years ago. So we think that it's time for more creative thinking to occur by the city to come up with a solution for the 21st century.
Deja vu. And lastly, after Governor Cuomo came forward on the whole Canarsie idea with the mechanical engineering experts from Columbia and Cornell, did that give you all kind of a, hey, yes, I mean, there's always a better way. We just have to keep at this to see that our voices are heard?
I think it's an example that it takes a fresh perspective. That DOT, in speaking with the community, said that it was limited to working solely within its right-of-way. And that's something that we've challenged from day one, that with going more broadly and looking outside their right-of-way, just into the adjacent area, that a much better solution is available to the city.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Peter Bray, we appreciate it. Brooklyn Heights, a lovely part of New York, and we really are glad that you're here, and we'll keep on top of this.
I'll look forward to it.
It's been a long time, I know, so patience on this one, right?
Yes.
Thank you.